Hey guys, how you doing? I just thought I'd shoot this quick video. My name's Brett Thompson, one of the partners in Ecom Insider, and I just want to introduce you to a new friend of ours, BJ Smith, who we only met maybe a couple of weeks ago, I think. BJ, isn't it? And see, myself and other people who have an opportunity to meet, some e-commerce store owners who want to know about Ecom Insider. A lot of people want to join Ecom Insider, and we speak to lots of different people. There's people who we don't feel are a good fit, or the timing's not right, so we might just point them to Tanner's book or something like that. Or there's other people who look at it and say, "Yep, I'm definitely in." And there's other people who are smart enough to know it sounds good, but they just need a little bit more information, and they don't really, maybe not know the history of what Tanner's created and so on and so forth. And I'd say, and if you're watching this video, it's because someone's thought of you enough that they believe you've got what it takes. You're going to do a great job and enjoy the community. But for some reason, you might just need to hear from other people. And I put kind of BJ, I put you in that category, mate. After I got off the call with you, you felt like you thought it was a great idea, but you needed more information. And I just knew this was going to be a good fit for you. So I persisted. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions, mate, if that's cool.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah. So, mate, just very quickly, just tell people, your story so far with e-commerce, just so they've got a bit of a grounding of where you're at in your business.
Well, our story is, we've been at this, we have a brand, and we've been building a brand, and we want to win at Ecom, and we've had some success, but we haven't really been able to go to the next level or scale. We hit six figures pretty quick out of the gate, but we've been stuck there for a few years and trying to figure it out and really fight all sorts of, basically the fast changing e-com world. And so that's kind of our background, and we're trying to go to that next level, I guess, for using a cliche.
Yeah. Awesome. And how did you come across Tanner?
I don't remember. I think through an email. I mean, I don't remember the original time. Somehow I ended up on his email list. I've signed up for some other coaching programs over the last few years, some good, some not so good. I did those were trainings, excuse me. I did one coaching program several years ago, and the guy tried, but it wasn't, honestly, what I was looking for is all here. I mean, I've just been shaking my head the last 3 weeks being like, this is what I was looking for literally almost 3 years, two and a half years ago. And I just had never seen it. So anyways, I had signed up to Tanner, been on his email list. I hadn't paid much attention because a year ago, I just decided I was going to tune out a lot of the noise and follow what I was following for 2018. And then I'd reevaluate once it got to be 2019, because there can be so much clutter and noise of who's doing what. So anyways, at the end of 18, or early 19, I was kind of on my mind, what am I going to do this year for training? I got an email from Tanner talking about this. I remembered I had seen the event and debated attending in the summer, but I wasn't able to. And so that's how I just clicked, and I almost rolled my eyes at it and thought, no, this is another training or coaching thing, but I clicked through and we ended up on a call.
Awesome, man. So when you first, we jumped on, we didn't know each other from a bar or so, and I showed you what we're doing in Ecom Insider. What was your kind of initial thoughts?
I was excited because, to me, I got the feeling that it was a lot of the things that hadn't been talked about. Meaning, I've spent a ton of time on like traffic, Facebook, YouTube, Google, but I really wanted to learn more of. And I know I can't control those platforms, those big $100 billion companies, whatever they are, $1 trillion companies. But I could control what's on my site to get better results. And that's what was really intriguing to me, was the not worrying about driving traffic, but worrying about how my site performed. And that was the biggest thing that made a difference to me.
And thanks for that, mate. Was there anything you were skeptical about when you first saw it?
Well, I think at first, my first thought was that probably the price was going to be more than I could afford and out of my budget. And then secondly, I had that previous coaching experience I mentioned, and that was just not, I wouldn't say I got scammed, but it wasn't at all what I was looking for. It wasn't comprehensive. And so I was concerned because of that previous experience.
Yeah. And mate, what did you need? Because I know you wanted some time to think about it, and you asked some really good questions. What was it that you needed from us that helped you kind of take that leap of faith? It was still a leap of faith. I understand that. And yeah, what comes to mind? What that you needed for that little bit more of a nudge?
Number one is I ended up with a link you guys provided, and I went and watched some of that, which was so I did a little due diligence, which was essentially what's a jam session of them critiquing. And the things they were talking about, a lot of those were things that I have either considered or I have done at one point or the other, but I had no idea what the best practice standard was. And I don't have, like, I'm too small as a company still to do sophisticated testing and really monitor all the different variables. So for me, I did that. And then I also, it just so happened that I asked for references of people in my area. And I had someone that was not very far, and we did a quick message, and they just said, don't hesitate, jump in. And so that helped too. But between those two things, I had my mind made up pretty quick. And then the third thing is the price was totally reasonable.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Mate, and so you've been in for 2 weeks now, I believe 2 weeks. And there was a leap of faith jumping in. What's your experience been so far, like just 14 days into this?
Well, I would say that I have already gotten my value of what I expected out of it in the first 2 to 3 weeks. I mean, I haven't necessarily made that in additional sales necessary or margin, but I can already see the value of what I'm going to be implementing and know that it will pay off. Like, for example, my conversion rate, I did some of the tweaks. I consider it like a bicycle, like getting all the moving parts together. If you're riding a tandem bicycle, you got the person on the front, the person on the back, and I've had half a person on a bike for 2 years, and I'm just taking a lot of these things together. I'm putting them all together at one time in one working motion, along with the apps that have been included with this. And by doing it immediately, just a couple tweaks, I saw almost a double in my conversion rate. And I've taken a little step back on that. But I can tell, like, we're just getting started, and I am fully confident we're going to be able to just really get where we want and meet our goals. And the other thing is the Facebook group, which I kind of was rolling my eyes at because I've been in other Facebook groups, and it's been very either Facebook ads oriented or just really not very engaging or friendly even. And this is completely different. Everyone's invested. The owners or the partners of BGS or Ecom Insiders, they're invested and engaged. Everyone's sincere. Like, I've been like, this is awesome, where I really wasn't expecting that at all.
Yeah. And I must say, mate, your engagement in the Facebook group, I have to give you full credit. Some people jump in a little bit quiet, and that's fine. I mean, the value's there, but it's really, you're in there asking questions and you're getting engagement. And I know you've jumped on one of the live calls. You haven't been on jam session yet, I don't believe, but that's this week. But you and I jumped on one of the copywriting calls. How was that experience?
So I've been on a copywriting call, and I got on the Facebook ads call with Victoria. They were both awesome. Like, it was like gold. And I mean, I've done a ton of Facebook training, for example, and ad work, and I feel like we're getting really good results. But one person can't know it all, and I'm not an expert. And just the ability to talk with someone else high level about what we were doing and go into it and have them understand, that was awesome. And that just got my mind in the right spot. And then after that, we actually bumped ourselves quite a bit, and our cost per acquisition got back down to where it should be through some of that conversation. So we've seen results there. The copywriting call with you is awesome. It got us some new ideas of how we can more effectively communicate our message. A lot of, again, these best practice things that we've been wondering about for years of how do we get that bicycle turning, all the pedals going together.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So credit to you for being so engaged and taking action there, man. Another one question, and nearly done, mate, was what do you expect? What's your expectation for the next 12 months as far as income, turnover, revenue? Like, what's, if you had to take a guess, what's it look like for you?
Well, I personally think like we will hit the 7 figures. I think we have the tools and the path to get there more so than we did before. I think we would have gotten there eventually before this group, but I think this will dramatically expedite our results. And our goal is absolutely to, you know, for us, our problem's never been sales. It's been profitable sales. We're a smaller company, and we need to be profitable, and I can't dump tons of money in to go negative in the hole out of the gate. So getting sales hasn't been the problem, but it's been profitable sales. And a lot of the tools, you know, increasing conversion rate, getting more efficient sales on the back end, you know, some of the tips and tricks on monetizing the back end of the e-commerce funnel that are being taught, that's where we've been weak. And so I'm really confident that we're going to be, you know, really double to tripling our business over the next 12 months.
Yeah, well done, mate. And I have no doubt, mate, especially with that new revenue optimization handbook as a step-by-step guide, right?
Yeah, and one thing I should say, Brett, is back to kind of that Facebook group and the engagement, is that is not my style. It really isn't my style to jump in and be so engaging, particularly in that setting. But on this one, I was like, hey, what do I have to lose? And also when I got in and saw that the main guys were legitimately in there, you know, commenting and giving good value, I thought, this is awesome. I'm going to jump in and kind of put myself out there and just see what happens. And it's come back and been awesome so far. Yeah. And I think that's the whole thing with this. You got to jump in and do it.
Yeah, 100%. It's full credit to them. Last question is, what would you say to someone in a position similar to you who likes the idea, but they just need a bit more information, maybe sitting on the fence and might have been stung before with other coaches or whatever? What advice would you give them who might be watching this video?
I mean, if it were me, I think I'd go through a similar process. I'd probably evaluate what you've done, where you're at. And I do think that this is best suited for someone that's had some experience or is really willing to jump all in. If you're not ready to jump in or you don't have the background, then it might not be there. But if you're growing and you're seeing sales and you've got the time and can put it in, then I would definitely do a little due diligence and then go for it. You know, I've heard it said out there, if the budget makes you balk, you're probably not there yet, and then you'd work towards getting there. But I personally would just watch a jam session or not a jam session, whatever it's called, a reference link and go for it. But I don't know, if you haven't, knowing what I know now, I'd probably just jump in too. Like I wouldn't even be afraid if you had the right referral, if you're watching this video. So
yeah. Sometimes a lot of it's you're trying to make a logical decision, but it's not until you're in there then it becomes an experience. And that's what all our members say. That's why they stick around, they share, and it's a really awesome community. And it's just I really appreciate the time you've spent sharing your experience so far, mate. You're only just warming up, mate. We've got some. I think you're definitely going to be.
Oh yeah, we're excited. We're excited. I think, truth be told, I probably saw the value after the first call with you, but I've put myself a policy that I never pull the trigger in the moment on something like this. By matter of best practice, I always wait and review and do the due diligence, because a few times it hasn't been worked out. But I think you guys had me pretty convinced that this would be a good fit by the time we were done with our call.
Yeah, well, that's right. It's not just it's not just kind of shallow promises. It's all data-driven resources that come from Matthew and the Amplified Partners team, which just makes it so solid. So anyway, I appreciate your time, mate. I know sometimes it's good there's a few people that I know and our partners know who we want to share this with, because we care about them. We want them. They might need to hear it from someone else other than ourselves. So really appreciate your time, mate. Look forward to being on that journey and get you that 7-figure club at the next event, mate.
Brad, I look forward to meeting you at that event in person. Yeah.
I'll be full of energy after a 14-hour flight. So
yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right. Thanks, buddy. See you, mate.
Hey, thanks. We'll see you, Brett. Take care.